All right, so let's go because there's a book that brings out some heavy information, and the name of that book is The Marketing of
Oh
Evil.
yeah. So I bought this book several years ago. I hadn't really cracked it open outside of like just a couple of points that I hadn't even really gone into before, but um, it goes in. This was written in 2005 by this dude named David Capillion, whatever. It's the marketing of evil, how radicals, elitists, and pseudo experts sell us corruption disguised as freedom.
Mm,
Corruption disguised as
mm,
freedom.
that's a heavy point.
Cause y'all gon' yeah. So, cause I know y'all gonna have some precepts. Let's get through this first, at least through this first point. Read this first page. This is page 20, Marketing Blitz. Actually, let me see what the name of that chapter was. So this is the first chapter. One sec. So Marketing Blitz, selling gay rights to America. Start at today.
Marketing Blitz. Today, thanks to
Actually,
America's.
wait. First of all, blow it up because I can't see it. Number two, one sec, because I didn't highlight that. So let me see. Uh, yeah, start right there, and then we'll jump around because I didn't highlight it. So I'm gonna have to. I'll point you when I see it.
Yes, sir. Today, thanks to America's politically correct, gay friendly culture, millions of human beings in the grip of this same unnatural sexual compulsion find it much easier to accept.
So it says millions of human beings in the grip of this same unnatural sexual compulsion find it much easier to accept. As we read over the next couple of pages, you'll see why in America it's so much easier in 2021 to accept because this is nothing new. This book was written in 2005, 16 years ago, but all the dates that you're gonna read over the next couple of pages, you talking about 50, 60, 70 years ago
Right.
that this was being pushed. Go ahead.
Even to wear as a badge of honor.
But even to wear an unnatural sexual compulsion as a badge of honor. Go ahead.
But they still don't understand it. In fact, they have less desire than ever to understand it. Just as the larger society has also lost interest in understanding homosexuality. But sometimes not knowing what you're dealing with can be dangerous. So let's take off the rainbow colored glasses and objectively explore this phenomenon we call gay rights.
So what are we getting ready to talk about? Gay rights. And matter of fact, I think you got the wrong page, bro. Is that the first page that the officer sent?
Yes, that was the
That I sent?
first. Yes, sir. That was the first one.
Read on. Let me look at this real quick.
Okay. It grew out of the sexual liberation movement of the 1960s. To be precise, the June 11th, 1969 Stonewall riot, when a group of homosexuals at New York City's Stonewall Inn resisted police commands to disperse, is widely regarded as the birth of the gay liberation movement. This emerging political force.
Okay, so that was in the 1960s, the sexual liberation movement of the 1960s, specifically 1969. Somebody do some quick math for me. How long ago was that?
51.
51 years ago. They had the sexual liberation movement. 61 years ago. Out of that was birthed the gay liberation movement. Read on.
This emerging political force made
This emerging political force, read.
made considerable strides during the 70s, most notably in persuading, many say intimidating, the American Psychiatric Association in 1973 into removing homosexuality from its official list of mental disorders.
So there was intimidation that was placed upon the Psychiatric Association in 1973. So you had political power. If you had
Right.
political power, that means you had money
That's right.
to back you to push the Psychiatric Association in 1973 to remove homosexuality from a list of mental disorders.
Lobbying.
Lobbying.
Yep.
That's what that is. Lobbying. You already know what I want. Popular persuasion first. Let's read about lobbying in the scriptures.
The book of
Yeah, the book of First Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 73. And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions,
So secret plots, popular persuasions, and commotions or intimidation. Read.
they hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived.
For us today, we're building back the nation of Israel. We're building back the body of Christ, the children of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. There was a big push starting in 1969 with the sexual liberation movement, which birthed the gay liberation movement. Then in the 70s, in 1973, the Psychiatric Association, American Psychiatric Association, removed homosexuality from their list of mental disorders. Read on. Yes.
Hey, yeah, you got to ask yourself too. Why would they remove it from their list of psychiatric disorders? You know what I'm saying? You got to ask yourself that question. The reason they do that is because all of these different companies and associations, they in line with the agendas that's finna be pushed over the next couple of years.
Right. You know, looking at this, I can suspect, without anything written in front of me, everything that they do, they plotted 30, 50, 70 years ahead, right? So with this, it was removed as a mental disorder, but what is the biggest thing being discussed in America right now besides gay rights? Mental health.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yo, that reminds me of that movie that Deacon brought out, the War of Tomorrow, where they were sending people into the future to fight against the people that were gonna come. That's some heavy stuff.
What was it? Tomorrow
The
World?
War,
Tomorrow War.
Tomorrow.
War,
Yeah,
right.
I've been checking that out
It's
on
wild. It's
Netflix.
wild. Wow.
Wow.
That's how Esau think. They got to plan 30, 40, 50, 60. We didn't see going over some of the classes 100 years in advance because they already know what it's going to look like.
I don't know if y'all saw the class I did yesterday, but one of the books that I brought out, Esau was counseling in the book, it said that they counseled his brethren. It said his brethren on how to make the native Indians white and delightsome by giving them teaching them the gospel and educating them.
Right.
So there's always been a push against the children of Israel, whether it was pushing their gospel, pushing Caesar Borgia, whether it's the education system. We talked about that. You're talking about over 100 years ago. The plot was, let's make them all workers. Let's keep them slaves.
Right.
Or if it's sexual liberation.
Right.
So read on. Start at but gay rights.
But gay rights was young, inexperienced, underfunded, and understaffed as political movements go. And the issue received little support from politicians or the nation in general.
But it had enough push to change for the American Psychiatric Association to change its definition in 1973. So they had some sort of backing.
Hey, so with that point being made, officer, right? So they already said that it was a actual disease. It was something wrong with you mental at first, and they let money and politics change it.
Right.
They understood to some extent that it would. For us, we say disease. They say mental disorder. We say it's sin.
Right.
It's sin. That's a mental, spiritual disorder.
Sin. Exactly.
That's what sin is.
Here's the proof, officer. Go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 29. Here's the proof that what officer is saying is totally correct. Ecclesiastes 7 and 29. Because here's what God said about it.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
He didn't make you a homosexual. or a lesbian. He made you upright, meaning if you was born a male, that's who you are. You are a male. Anything you doing other than that, lustfully, that's a sin.
Right.
If you dealing with the same sexes, read.
But they have sought out many inventions.
So they the one came up with this stuff. They the one came up with man on man, female on female. That's your lust. That's your invention. That's your lust that you can't control.
That's a
I'm
cold
gonna show y'all something
precept.
because the point of us bringing this out and having this show is to show the wiles of Satan, number one. Wiles being the tricks or the deceptions of Satan, number one. But two, everything that we're reading is spiritual. Everything we're reading is in the scriptures. Get that. The reason why they said it was a mental disorder, get that in Mark chapter 7.
Bring it out.
Read verse 20. You're going to read verse 21 through 23.
21. The book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men,
So from within, out of the minds of men,
proceed evil thoughts,
proceed evil thoughts. We're getting ready to read some of these mental disorders that come out of the mind that a black, Hispanic, and Native American man and woman.
adulteries,
Adultery, sexual sin,
fornications,
sexual sin,
murder,
murders,
thefts,
thefts,
covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness,
lasciviousness,
and evil,
strong sexual thoughts, strong sexual desires that go against the laws of God. Read.
an evil eye, blasphemy, pride.
Pride. Notice how they say gay pride.
Exactly.
But that's an evil mental and spiritual disorder according to God. I'm reading red letters right here. This is Christ right here.
That's right.
Read on.
Foolishness. All these evil things
Come on,
come from within
come from the mind of men
and defile the man.
and defile you. And guess what? Everything you say is defiled. How about what the doctor just said? It ain't that we breathing gay or whatever the hell he said. Y'all out here breathing
You
AIDS.
spitting on your brother spitting on
I don't
you.
know what the hell that means.
Gay spit.
Gay spit. I don't know.
The hell is this?
You got something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
go ahead.
John 5. Let's go to John chapter 5. Remember, Christ healed a man, and this is landbacking off of what you said, right? Christ healed a man, the man that was at the pool of Bethesda, and after he was healed, the man went into the temple. The Pharisees questioned him, who healed him. Go to start at verse number 13.
The book of John, chapter 5 and verse 13. And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place.
So there was a lot of people around, so he wasn't sure where he was, who he was. He couldn't point him out. Read.
Verse 14. Afterward, Jesus findeth him in the temple.
So now Jesus goes to the man, though, right? He finds him in the crowd. Watch what Christ said to him.
And said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole.
So he said, okay, you were sick, but today you're no longer sick. Your illness, your infirmities have been taken from you. But what is the warning that he gives?
Sin no more,
Stop breaking God's laws,
lest a worse thing come unto thee.
or you're going to end up sicker due to your sin. It is sin that is causing these illnesses.
Right.
And they understood that, but they were bullied into removing that.
Right. Yep.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.